Chloe and Halle Bailey, or simply Chloe and Halle, Mableton, Georgia, active since 2018. Before the split, Chloe and Halle looked destined to redefine R&B. Two sisters with unmatched harmonies, stage presence, and vision beyond their years. They had the potential to become generational voices, balancing artistry with authenticity in an era built on trends. But their journey took separate turns, not from conflict but growth. Their story isn't about division, it's about how natural separation can be for creative individuals in a world where you can't always hold hands to success. What happened? Let's talk about it. Salute to Twin on IG for this request. It's your boy JC, StuntedGrowthMusic. Let's get it, man. Take a minute to like, subscribe, and comment on who I should do next. Chloe and Halle Bailey grew up in Mableton, Georgia in a creative household that encouraged music and performance from an early age. Chloe began experimenting with songwriting around 10 years old, while Halle developed her vocal tone through constant practice with her sister. In 2011, they launched a YouTube channel posting acoustic covers that showcased not just their voices, but their natural chemistry and stage presence. Their breakout moment came in 2013 when their cover of Beyoncé's Pretty Hurts went viral, eventually catching Beyoncé's attention and leading to a Parkwood Entertainment deal in 2015. After moving to Los Angeles, they continued schooling while producing and writing their own music, later opening for Beyoncé on the Formation World Tour. And 2020's Ungodly Hour confirmed them as two of R&B's most musically advanced young artists. Stunt number 1, the industry didn't know what to do with them. For all their talent, Chloe and Halle were never easy to market. They didn't fit the quick hit TikTok era where flash and repetition win over patience and musicianship. Their sound was layered, matured, and intentional. Songs built from live instruments, complex harmonies, and themes that rewarded repeat listens. That kind of craftsmanship doesn't translate easily to a playlist culture driven by trends, and while critics praised it, label executives only scratched their heads. Signed to Beyoncé's Parkwood imprint under Columbia Records, expectations were sky high, yet the industry surrounding them struggled to position two young women who cared more about tone and texture than chasing the latest algorithm-friendly sound. Their debut, The Kids Are Alright, was praised for its confidence and creativity but earned only modest commercial returns. Even Ungodly Hour, their sleek, accessible evolution, debuted at number 16 on the Billboard 200 with roughly 24,000 first-week units. It was a triumph on paper, but in perception, it still made them appear niche. The market had shifted toward instant gratification, and Chloe and Halle were building records meant to live, not trend. In another era, they might have become the next Floetry or even a modern TLC, distinct, soulful, and unmistakably black in presentation. Instead, their refined aesthetic was quietly labeled too artistic for mainstream pop and too experimental for radio R&B. Without a clear commercial lane, their trajectory stalled right as they were reaching their creative peak. The public respected them but didn't move with them, and the subtle distance made their rise feel incomplete. The industry's inability to define or promote their brilliance turned what should have been superstardom into underappreciation. Chloe and Halle weren't stunted by ability, they were stunted by an industry that no longer knows how to nurture originality and no longer wants to in favor of moving on to more sure things that require less work. Stunt number 2, separate paths, separate momentum. When Ungodly Hour released in 2020, Chloe and Halle were finally getting the recognition they had worked toward for years. They performed everywhere, the MTV, VMAs, BET Awards, and even virtual Grammy stages during the pandemic, displaying live vocals and professionalism far beyond their age. The project earned 3 Grammy nominations and made them one of R&B's most promising acts. But as soon as the world began to open back up, their journey together began to slow. Halle had been cast as Ariel in Disney's The Little Mermaid, a groundbreaking moment that would make her a global name. Chloe, equally ambitious, started crafting her solo identity, eager to show she was more than half of a duo. What looked like simple timing turned into creative separation. While Halle filmed overseas, Chloe released solo material like Have Mercy, embracing a more provocative, pop-leaning image that clashed with the subtle sophistication that defined their earlier sound. Fans respected the courage but felt the disconnect. The unity and contrast that once made the sisters magnetic had started to fade. Halle's schedule left little time for studio sessions, and Chloe's solo rollout under Columbia felt like a reboot instead of a continuation. By 2023, Chloe's debut album In Pieces arrived to mixed reviews, praised for honesty but criticized for uneven direction. That same year, Halle dropped her single Angel, a return to the emotion and grace fans associated with the pair. Both projects proved their individual brilliance, but the spark they shared together couldn't be replicated alone. They never announced a breakup, yet the silence between releases told its own story. What once felt like the future of R&B slowly became two parallel careers running in opposite directions, with both sisters trying to prove themselves in worlds that didn't value unity as much as individuality. Stunt number 3, the industry moved on without them. After Ungodly Hour, Chloe and Halle's momentum seemed unstoppable. They had become respected voices in modern R&B, praised for their precision, harmonies, and poise. But as they shifted towards solo work after 2020, the musical landscape evolved rapidly. New stars like SZA, Summer Walker, and Her took over the genre's emotional center, while TikTok and short-form virality became the new form of exposure. The sisters' deliberate, less frequent approach to releasing music didn't match that climate, and their absence as a duo quietly reduced their visibility. Their artistry had always been about detail and balance, but in an era where presence equals success, consistency became currency. By the time Chloe released In Pieces in March 2023, and Halle followed with her single Angel that August, both had established new audiences, but not the shared cultural force they once were together. Their solo identities grew, yet the duo's relevance cooled in the background. Not because of fallout in talent, but because the industry had already moved on to faster content and louder personalities. R&B had entered a new space where constant engagement mattered as much as quality, and Chloe and Halle's brand of timeless musicianship struggled to compete for attention in that environment. Still, their absence highlighted how important they were to the genre. Many fans began realizing the gap their sound left, a sense of grace and refinement rarely found in the algorithm age. Had they continued together, they might have anchored a new era of soulful, intelligent R&B. Instead, their evolution happened separately, and by the time the world looked back for them, the conversation had already changed, replaced by artists who benefited from timing more than talent, and algorithms more than artistry, a quiet reminder that greatness isn't always rewarded in real time. All in all, Chloe and Halle's story isn't one of failure, but of timing, direction, and how quickly the modern music landscape moves. They possess the rare combination of vocal excellence, creative control, and integrity that once defined the greats, yet the pace of today's industry left little room for their kind of artistry to breathe. When the spotlight turned toward flashier, algorithm-driven acts, their quiet commitment to musicianship was overlooked. Still, what they built together remains meaningful. Two sisters from Georgia who carried the spirit of real R&B into a generation that barely remembers it. Their evolution into solo artists showed that growth sometimes means separation, even at the cost of momentum. Whether they reunite or continue apart, Chloe and Halle's legacy is already clear. They reminded listeners that talent doesn't have to shout to be heard, it just has to last, and theirs obviously will. Salute, much respect, but for these reasons, their growth together was stunning. It's your boy JC, StuntedGrowthMusic, and I'm out.